Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for ICP. On this video, I'm going to get into the smaller time frames, but first we'll just start with a quick recap out on the 4-hour chart, what we have since the low. Since the low at 282, we had a nice 5-wave impulse to complete a larger 1-2. So think of a larger version of this smaller one. Now, for extensions and targets, our third wave, we usually just target the 1.618 extension of wave 1 off of wave 2. You can see we came past that. We just came shy of our extended target at the 2.618. Now, this is clearly a third wave. We had a very nice separation for our third wave, and we also look for peak RSI and the most volume in the 5-wave move. So everything looks good. Our fourth wave, we look between the 382 and the 50% retracement of the entire third wave. You can see we found the pivot right in that perfect zone. And then for our wave 5, we target the length of wave 1, extend that off of the fourth wave pivot, which was right there at 1876. So you can see a pretty ideal 5-wave impulse. Now a further guideline to help you target the fourth wave is take the beginning of the wave 1, extend it off of wave 2, and extend that off the top of wave 1, and you should find a pivot on the top end of that channel. So very nice 5-wave impulse. After the 5 waves are complete, looking for a correction between the 382 and the 786 retracement of the entire 5-wave move. Currently, we are at the 618 retracement, so there is a possibility we come a little bit lower. Now, I've talked about this possibility before in a video. I just want to reiterate that just in case we happen to fail on this move. There is some issues with this as an impulse, the move off the low. We'll discuss that. But if we do make another low, I would expect this to be more of a fourth wave within a third. That would bring us our 3, 4, 5, possibly come down to the 786 area. Now, until that happens, I am bullish, but I just wanted to make you aware of that because there is the possibility of that happening. And the way that would adjust is we have a W wave right here as an ABC. We have our X wave as a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. We then had labeled an ABC for a double zigzag, and we're expecting this to be a impulse, and this is our significant low as our wave 2 bottom. Now, how this can get adjusted, I've talked about this a few different times, is we didn't hit ideal targets here on this second ABC for our Y wave. We did hit the minimum requirement at the 618, but this can very easily just be relabeled, and this is our third wave, fourth, and our fifth, very easily. So that's the issue with this count. So if that is actually the fact and we actually do fail here, then this is just an A wave within the Y wave. And this becomes an A, B, C, and we're looking for this to turn into a 5-wave move, right, to complete A, B, C. So we'll see what we get. We're pretty close to that failure area, so we should get resolution soon. But the reason why we did see this as a bottom is because we hit that ideal golden zone area at the 618, and we hit a 1-to-1 extension of this W4 off our X for our Y. Has the right look as well for our time look we talk about. So we'll see if we hold in this area. But if we don't, I'd be looking for the 1-to-1 extension. Which would be around 488. That would be our C wave equaling A wave if this B wave is complete. So that's if we fail. I just want to make that very clear so you know what to look for in case we do. Now, the issue with this initial move, this is what we're tracking right now. Let me just get these off for a second. The issue here, which we've had, is the ugliness of this wave. It does count as a 5-wave move. We did hit our standard extension at the 1.618 of wave 1 off wave 2 on the micro. Our issue was always this wave. It makes it WXY as a complex structure, but it only meets minimum requirements, no one-to-ones. And that's the entirety of our 5th wave. So if we fail, this would become obviously something more complex. So where are we now? We have come through, put this on the left, ignore that for a moment. So from our retracement of our smaller wave 1, again, we look for the 382 to the 786, and this is our 786 right here. So we're at kind of the last area we can hold this as an impulse. Even this count was very difficult. Have it as WXY, double zigzag, ABCX, ABC. Not ideal. We sold off very quickly. That was with the Bitcoin sell-off. The only thing I do like about it, as you know, is we usually like to come between the 618 and the 120 time, which was right here. So fast sell-off for a Y wave, right? So if we fail to recover here, I would say this is most likely a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, working on a 4th, 5th for our 3rd wave, 4th, 5th. That's how I'd see us failing. And if we go down to the absolute micro, this is the pivot we really need to hold. This whole area is a very complex structure too. It can either be a diagonal, it's not a very good looking diagonal, or it can be a complex like ABCX, ABC. In which case, this could be a potentially impulse to the downside, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 somewhere here, 4, 5, something like that. But it doesn't look great either. So you can see we're kind of in this area of no real probabilities whatsoever. Even this looks corrective. You can see I pulled the fibs from our move to the downside there. Again, for a wave 2, if this was a 1, 2 to the downside, we tend to look for between the 382 and the 786. So you can see we're not past the 786 yet. So this can easily turn into an impulse. And now if we're bullish, and this is actually a wave 1 as a diagonal, I'd be looking for this to be an A, B, C. We'd be looking for the 1-to-1. So that does look like a 3-wave to the upside currently. We'd be looking for the 1-to-1, which is around 671. So an equal length leg as this one here, as an ABC. Zigzag. And from the retracement of the wave 1 in that scenario, remember we hold between we're already through the 382, but ideally between the 50 and the 618, and we want to hold obviously above the 786. So we'll see what we get. My plan here is to wait for this move, similar to how I mentioned playing XRP. I'm not going to short this, but I'm going to wait for this move, see if it plays out. And if the market starts to come to me in an impulsive manner, I will take the long at the break of the B wave. Stop will go at the C wave low. So if labeled like this, and we actually start to move, I'd put my buy order just above that B wave, a couple ticks, and my stop will go at that C wave low. That allows me to get the most position size if this is going to pan out. Because remember, we're talking about we're going to all-time highs. My actual target for a 3rd wave on the larger time frame, if it actually does pan out, is at 149. So it's 150 to 1, right? It doesn't have to work out that often to be correct, but that would be my long-term swing trade. So we'll see if we get this. Otherwise, I expect this to turn into some sort of 4th wave pattern, like a triangle or a running flat, something like that. But you can see it's not a high probability zone, so I'd rather wait for this C wave and let let myself get triggered in once the market comes to me only. I'm not interested in buying at this low and putting my stop at this Y wave. Some people will do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this situation, how deep we came for this wave 2, I want to let the market come to me. So my trading style really does depend like how well guidelines are following. So in this situation, I only want to get in if we get the C wave and break of that B wave. I'm not interested in taking a long here, stop at this low. We've just come too low in this wave 2 past the 786, looking quite weak, right? So we'll see what happens. If this does start to move up, I would expect this to be more of a B wave in some sort of larger correction. The only other option is this is like a 1-2 with a flat. I don't even see 5 waves in here, so it would have to make most likely some sort of diagonal. But I don't really see it getting away at the moment. If it does start to get away, I'll have to reevaluate it, and I will update it in a video. But as of right now, that's my interest. Either we come down, make a new low, or we come down for our C wave, in which case I will buy the breakout above this B wave once again, if the market does exactly this. Right. All right, guys, that's it for ICP. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.